For years, Americans have been told the same thing. Watch your sugar. Avoid carbs. Bread, rice, sugarcane, and potatoes are the enemy. So people do exactly that. They cut back. They switch brands. They follow their doctor's advice. They go in every year for routine blood work. Cholesterol? Checked. Blood sugar? Checked. Blood pressure? Checked. And yet, type 2 diabetes rates keep rising. Heart disease is still the #1 killer in the United States, and millions of people feel tired, foggy, inflamed, and older than they should. Here's the uncomfortable question no one is asking out loud. What if it's not just what you're eating, but what your medical checkups are missing? Most people believe that if their annual labs come back normal, they're in the clear. That belief feels safe, reassuring, logical, but it's also incomplete. Because there is one blood marker, rarely discussed in routine checkups across the U.S., that quietly affects blood sugar control, heart health, nerve function, and even how your body reacts to carbohydrates like bread, rice, and potatoes. That marker is called homocysteine. If that word sounds unfamiliar, you're not alone. Most Americans have never heard it explained in plain English. Yet, elevated homocysteine has been linked in medical literature to insulin resistance, vascular damage, stroke risk, cognitive decline, and chronic inflammation, all things that don't show up clearly when you only look at glucose and cholesterol. Here's why that matters. When you eat carbohydrates, your body doesn't just respond with insulin. It also relies on healthy blood vessels, efficient cellular metabolism, and proper vitamin-driven pathways to move sugar out of the blood and into cells where it can be used safely. Homocysteine interferes with that process. When levels are high, blood vessels become irritated and stiff. Insulin signaling becomes less efficient. Sugar stays in the bloodstream longer than it should. And suddenly, foods you've eaten your whole life, a slice of bread, a bowl of rice, a baked potato, start causing spikes that feel unpredictable and out of your control. The frustrating part? You can have normal A1C, normal fasting glucose, and still have this problem. That's why routine checkups alone aren't enough. In the U.S. healthcare system, especially under Medicare and standard insurance panels, homocysteine testing is often skipped unless a doctor is specifically looking for cardiovascular risk or genetic issues. It's not that doctors are careless, it's that the system prioritizes a narrow snapshot instead of the full metabolic picture. So people leave appointments thinking everything is fine, while the foundation quietly weakens. Now here's the hopeful part. And this is important. This is not about fear. It's about control. Homocysteine levels are strongly influenced by nutrients many Americans are deficient in, especially B vitamins like B6, B12, and folate. These nutrients help your body process certain amino acids and protect blood vessels. Without them, inflammation builds, sugar handling worsens, and carb tolerance drops. That's why two people can eat the same meal, same bread, same rice, and have completely different blood sugar responses. One person spikes, the other doesn't. It's not willpower, it's biochemistry. And this is where the conversation around carbs needs to change. Bread, rice, and potatoes are not inherently toxic foods. In fact, they've been staples across cultures for centuries. The real issue is whether your body is prepared to process them. If your metabolic pathways are strained, if inflammation is high, if homocysteine is elevated, carbs become the messenger, not the cause. Yet most health messaging in the U.S. skips this nuance entirely. Instead of asking why your body is reacting poorly, the solution becomes avoidance. Cut carbs forever, fear food, blame yourself. That approach isn't sustainable, and it doesn't fix the root problem. Understanding homocysteine changes the conversation. It shifts the focus from restriction to restoration, from fear to strategy. And once people understand this missing piece, something powerful happens. They stop feeling confused, they stop feeling blamed, they start asking better questions at their next medical visit. Because real health isn't just about numbers being in range. It's about how your body actually functions day to day. And when you fill in what routine checkups forget, when you support the pathways that manage blood sugar beneath the surface, the relationship with food changes. Not overnight, not magically, but realistically, safely, intelligently. This is the part of the story most Americans were never told. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it.